Man, it's hard to tell what Biden's doing, to be totally frank.
He has Asperger's.
Yeah, I know that.
So he's special. Your special needs. You're literally special needs. So I can't even take what you're saying seriously.
Excuse me, please don't engage with the audience.
Okay.
Sorry,
this is my
please
first time
continue your
here.
public comment. Your time is, you've got 1 minute and 19 seconds.
Twitter shows its true inclusivity. Elon Musk trolls the president of the United States. A mom gets her mic cut off after reading an assignment assigned to her 15-year-old daughter at a school board meeting, and some craziness from The View. All that and more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on today. It is May 18th, the year of our Lord 2022. New you in 22. You should get started on the new you part pretty soon because we're almost halfway through the year. Holy cow, we're almost halfway through the year. 18 months into the President Biden administration debacle. And speaking of President Biden, I feel like Elon Musk has been in the news a lot, to say the least, over the last couple days and weeks and months, but he's back in the news today as there's a bunch of stuff going on with this whole Twitter sale. I know that we've talked about Elon a lot, but this is a huge deal. One of the biggest platforms in the world is apparently lying to its investors about its users. Elon's trying to buy the company for $44 million, but he doesn't want to buy the company if it's not worth that. Now, obviously, there's a premium he's going to be paying for that, but if 30%, 50% of their users are bots or just not active at all, he's not going to want that, or at least want it for less, because Twitter apparently is lying about how many users it has. So there's that. A lot of stuff going on there, but I wanted to get to this clip that's been making the rounds. This is Elon Musk trolling Joe Biden. So watch this. I think this is just hilarious. We'll start this off on more of a funny foot, and then get into the nitty gritty of that. And then also a Project Veritas video, another one. I know we talked about this yesterday, but another Project Veritas video came out yesterday, in which the inclusive employees of Twitter acting not so inclusively. Watch this, and then we'll get to the other stuff.
Man, it's hard to tell what Biden's doing, to be totally frank. I feel like
it's weekend at Bernie's.
The real president is whoever controls the teleprompter. You know, it's like the path to power is the path to the teleprompter. Because then he just reads the teleprompter. So, I do feel like if somebody would accidentally lean on the teleprompter, it's going to be like Anchorman. It's going to be like QQQ ASDF 1 2 3, type of thing.
Elon also said after voting Democrat for years, he's going to be voting Republican. So it's going to get interesting with the world's richest man, who I think so aptly put it when he tweeted that little meme thing about the left has gone so far to the left. Is this on the screen? Left? Yeah, there we go. This left has gotten so, it's opposite. So I'm trying to, the left has gotten so far to the left that he stayed right here and is now on the right side of whatever the middle is. So there's that. Speaking of Elon, and again, more Twitter stuff. And again, I know that this is, I don't want to beat y'all up with Twitter news, but this is kind of important and kind of a big freaking deal that the biggest platform in the world, one, is apparently way more woke than, I don't want to say it's more woke than we thought, because we thought it would be crazy woke. But it's more woke than they've portrayed to the world. Yesterday, we had that big video of the guys who worked there saying Twitter's not about free speech. What happens is the left is very, very adamant about canceling or deleting or censoring tweets from right ideas, and the right is like, yeah, let them say what they want and bring their arguments to the table. So therefore, we inherently end up censoring more of what the left wants because they're such crybabies about it. That's basically what the guy yesterday was saying. A new video came out today from Project Veritas, James O'Keefe and our friends over at Project Veritas, releasing another video about another guy. Let me see what his title was. I think he's like a senior team development manager person who said some pretty interesting things about Elon specifically. Before we get to that, we'll get to just watch. This is clipped up into a couple different clips, so watch the first stuff. We'll talk about it on the inside, and then let me know in the comment section what you think about all of this. Really, I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking here at the comment section. Usually, we're I don't know if we're delivering to not as many people today or what's going on. Yeah, here we go. Here's more Twitter employees caught on camera by Project Veritas. Watch this.
Well, right now we don't make profit, so it's going to say ideology, which is what's led us to not being profitable. The rest of us who have been here believe in something that's good for the planet and not just to give people free speech. Because again, like, these people really do believe in what we're doing. These are the policies we've put in place for misinformation or mislabeling media or whatever.
Yeah.
Why do you think this should be taken down?
Yeah.
Like, those are the questions they're going to ask him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for him to be like, oh, because people should make their own decision. It's like, no, but people don't know how to make a rational decision if you don't put out correct things that are supposed to be out in the public. As an advertiser, as my business is what I do every day and why I go out is like, we want it to be as fair and transparent and accurate as possible.
Yeah.
And if that means there's a level of censorship to make it correct, quote unquote, again, and what does correct mean? I guess like, it just kind of goes back to the idea of like, well, what is correct?
Yeah, dude, what is correct and who gets to decide what correct is? But this guy's saying some people are too dumb to make their own decisions, so that's why we need to put correct information out there, and then contradicts himself by asking, what is correct? I don't even know what correct is. Who even knows what that is? But the juicier stuff came in this next clip. Twitter apparently isn't as inclusive and friendly as everyone would have thought, even though nobody actually thought that. They've been portraying themselves as a company of your lefty, woke, crazy ideology of everything is okay and we accept everyone. However, in a newly released Project Veritas video, it's pretty evidently clear that at least one of the management team people at Twitter is only inclusive if you agree with what he's saying. Elon Musk has Asperger's. I think he's openly talked about that. He's not been shy about it. I don't think it's pretty evident when you hear him talk or watch him do things. That has not stopped him, obviously, from becoming the richest man in the world. However, one of his potential future people who will be on staff at Twitter doesn't think that that's a good thing to have in an employee. So he's bashing him for his mental disability or whatever you want to call it. Watch this from the inclusive employee at the inclusive woke company of Twitter. Check it out.
If we're implementing all these rules and Elon wants to dismantle them, then technically our ideology has led us to not making money because we're not making money. And Elon wants to turn it the other way so that we can make money. There's a statement they need all 7,000 people to say. And so they can't tell us the real truth. He has Asperger's.
Yeah, I know that.
So he's special. Your special needs. You're literally special needs. So I can't even take what you're saying seriously.
Oh my goodness. Again, woke inclusivity, he literally has special needs. So I can't take him seriously at all. Dang, dude. Way to be inclusive at the woke factory that is Twitter. Holy cow. Now, I wanted to get to this clip, too, because you're going to think this is hilarious also. This is not this. Oh, no, this is the same Twitter employee talking about specifically an internal memo that went out to Twitter employees regarding people like Project Veritas. I was amazed when I saw this, and I think you will be too, but it is hilarious. Also, if you haven't already, click the little like button, click the little share button. It really helps us out, get to more people, continue doing what we're doing, yada, yada, yada. Would really appreciate you doing that. Watch this with the guy talking about the internal Twitter memo that said, don't do exactly what you're doing. Check this out.
Targeting of tweets.
Wait.
You can read it.
Let me see. And how to protect yourself. Groups like Project Veritas are active right now. Is that?
It's like some group that's trying to just out the employees. Like they're trying to go on dates with them like this and record them and then go sell it to the New York Times and say this is what the Twitter employee just said. This is what's really happening. This is what they're telling us to not do. You're lucky that you met me organically because I would be questioning everything about you.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, that's so blatantly perfect that I'm just curious, is that a setup? I don't know if I can believe anything anymore. I trust Project Veritas. I trust people like James O'Keefe, RC, all the people that I know work over there. But holy cow, could it be more perfect of a setup? There's no way that I would be telling anybody like Project Veritas anything because I met you organically. All that shows is that they're very good at their job. Holy cow, man. But that is that. So, more of the Twitter back and forth than what's been going on. Just so you know and are aware of things, Twitter has claimed that they have about 5% of their users are bots or non-active users or something like that. Elon tweeted yesterday talking about, I think there are about 20% that are fake/spam accounts, which is 4 times what Twitter has claimed. It could be even higher. Elon tweeted his offer. He said, my offer was based on Twitter's SEC filings being accurate. Yesterday, Twitter's CEO publicly refused to show less than 5% was either fake or spam accounts. The deal cannot move forward until he does this. Which has gotten to be fascinating because Twitter then responded and said, we're going to force you to buy our company and enforce the deal that we had originally. They said they're going to close the transaction and enforce the merger agreement. Now Elon Musk is forcing Twitter to force it. Hold on. Let me get this straight. Elon Musk has gotten Twitter to try and force him to buy them. Remember when they were not going to sell for all that time? So that's going to get really, really interesting, and we'll keep you up to date as this goes. Again, I know there's a lot of Twitter here, but it's just fascinating how this story has developed, and we'll continue to bring it to you as it goes on. Moving on, this is amazing, and I don't mean amazing as a good way. I am struck with amazement watching this video. This is a mom in Clark County, Nevada, where Las Vegas area is, going to a school board meeting and reading them verbatim an assignment that was assigned to her 15-year-old daughter. What happens next is, again, amazing, not in the good sense, but in the sense that I am amazed that this is happening in our public government schools. Watch this. We'll discuss on the other side.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to read you an assignment given to my 15-year-old daughter at a local high school. This will be horrifying for me to read to you, but that will give you perspective on how she must have felt when her teacher required her to memorize this and to act it out in front of her entire class. I don't love you. It's not you. It's just, I don't like your dick, or any dick in that case. I cheated, Joe.
I'm sorry.
This is propaganda.
Forgive me. Excuse me. I don't. Thank you so much for your. Thank you for your comment. Forgive me. We're not using profanity. Are you?
Okay.
We have the time back. That's relevant
Okay.
The teacher
This
required my daughter to memorize this and read this pornographic material.
excuse me, please don't engage with the audience.
Okay. Sorry, this is my
please
first time
continue your
here.
public comment. Your time is, you've got 1 minute and 19 seconds. I ask you simply, this is a public meeting. I ask for decorum, and I'm asking Dr. Jara. Thank you so much, Dr. Jara.
If you don't want me to read it to you, what was that like for my 15-year-old daughter to have to memorize pornographic material and memorize it and portray?
Madam President, members of the board, staff's on this. We can have the region superintendent speak first.
Like what? What? So a mom goes up to the school board meeting and reads her daughter's classroom assignment, her 15-year-old daughter's classroom assignment, and says, I don't like blank, expletive, all of that sort of stuff, and then gets stopped immediately by some heckler in the back saying, this is propaganda, and we'll touch on that in just a quick second. Then the school board is like, yeah, you can't say that sort of stuff, and the mom's like, what? What? You're telling this is apparently okay for my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter, in the government schools that you people operate. That's okay, but it's not okay for me to read it here to you. You see how that might be a problem that we're eventually going to have? And then they cut her mic off. At the very end of that, she starts talking again with a minute left in her public comments and can't because they shut the mic off. Now, the caveat here, and it's a pretty big one, is I haven't verified that this is actually an assignment. I didn't see any articles that actually verified the teacher actually assigning this assignment. So it's very possible, I don't want to say very possible, I'm just saying it's possible that this mom is an activist for something that I agree with, and their daughter might be an activist or lying to her mom, something like that. And maybe this is fake. Maybe. And if it is, I'll come back and say so later on if we find out that this wasn't true. It's kind of like when a bunch of college students find a noose on their campus, pretty much 9 times out of 10, actually 99 times out of 100, turns out to be some activist student planting something fake and trying to play the victim. I don't know if this is that sort of situation. I don't think it is, though. That mom sounded pretty dang sincere, didn't, and I hate to judge people by the way they look, but didn't look like the type of person that would make something like this up. And it seems reasonable with what we now know is going on in government schools. If you've seen any of the libs of TikTok, you know that this sort of stuff is actually happening in our government schools. So there's that. If anything develops out of this story, we'll bring it to you the second that it does develop. If it's confirmed that, yes, this is an actual assignment, I would like to see other parents of students in that class say, yeah, my kid got that assignment too. That would make it clearly and undeniably verifiable, and then we could go forward with how ridiculous it is. So there is that. Speaking of ridiculous, here's this. Are you familiar with the show The View? It is a show on ABC that I can't imagine why anybody watches. But I'm going to play a clip from, what's her name? Sunny Hoyson, I think. I'm not entirely sure what this woman's name is. But she is a partisan hack, it would appear, and says some things that you're going to be like, what? Again, this is The View. I don't know who continues to watch The View, but the hosts on The View say ridiculous things all the time, and this is no exception. Again, you're going to watch this and go, is she serious? Is she watching the same thing that I'm watching? Is she engaging in the same universe that I'm engaging with? Watch this clip. It is unbelievable. Literally, I cannot believe it. Watch this.
They are playing to the base. I mean, if you look at all the studies, the Republican Party has moved further to the right than Democrats have to the left. There's a Pew Research Center analysis that finds that on average, Democrats and Republicans are farther apart ideologically today than at any time in the past 50 years. And that ideological divide breaks down to the Republican Party being an extremist party, and the Democratic Party actually, as you just mentioned, Sarah, moving more to the center.
But isn't the problem
that is
the primaries? Because you can't get through these primaries unless you are extreme.
She's not wrong about the idea that ideologically we're more separated than ever. That comes a lot out of Congress and cable news and people like this on regular TV, network TV. Yeah, we are more divided than we ever were, probably. But at the same time, that's not because the right has gotten to be extremists. Again, I'm wondering, what world are you operating in? And that is where you see. Apparently, the extremists are the ones that are like, hey, don't transition my kid or talk to them about possibly being a different gender or no gender at all. How about you don't do that? Things have worked out humanity-wise for the last several thousand years, being what you are as what you're born with. Maybe we don't need to interject something that has never been proven, never been tried, and just downright ridiculous. Those are the extremists. The people who have moved towards the center are the people that say, no. You need to have puberty blockers that are completely irreversible and also have surgery if you think you're the opposite gender. Oh, and also, we're going to expand the government as big as possible. It's never been bigger. We've never spent any more money than we have now. Also, all of these other don't say gay bills, they're killing people. Oh my gosh. Those aren't the extremists. Those are the people that are moving to the middle, according to The View. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what we do with this sort of information, but I guess question number one that I have, again, is who watches The View still? Who are you people that watch it? I guess if you have a dentist appointment and you're waiting to get the chair open and you're sitting there in the waiting room and the TV's on, that's what you're, that maybe you watch The View then. But two, I don't know what world she's living in to come to that sort of belief. And three, who watches The View? Who watches this show? There's been a couple days where we've had like massive viewership, where we've like beaten CNN. This is not today, but some days where we have some pretty massive viewership. I wonder if we've ever beat The View, which would be hilarious. So there's that. There's several comments. Karen, I would love to bring your comment on the screen, but it is inappropriate. If you said bull spit, maybe we would have been able to get it on there. Yeah. Raina says, don't watch dummies. I really appreciate the comments in the comment section. I do read quite a bit of them and try to get to as many as we can on the show. But also at the same freaking time, I can't, because a lot of you use inappropriate language, kind of like that mom was doing in the school board meeting when she tried to tell the school board what they were teaching in her kids' classrooms. So there is all of that. Shoot, we didn't even talk about Joe Biden yesterday in Buffalo. Dang it, man, there's too much stuff to get to each and every day. So maybe we'll talk about some of that stuff tomorrow. Joe Biden went to Buffalo, didn't go to Waukesha, didn't go to any of the other places where terrible things happened. Again, this is not dismissing anything that happened in Buffalo. Dang it, yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll go into this whole replacement theory BS and people blaming Tucker Carlson and trying to take him off the air. Yeah, just ridiculous on all fronts. Maybe we'll talk about that in depth tomorrow. But that's going to do it for us today. If you haven't already given me a follow on any of your social media platforms, you can do that. Type in just Jobob pretty much anywhere, and you should be able to find me. We can connect there, and you can also send me stuff that's happening in your neck of the woods. If we need to be talking about it, if it deserves national attention, if you go to a board meeting and you try to read them an assignment given to your kid and they cut your mic off, yeah, send that along. We'd love to see it. Yeah, Jobob pretty much anywhere. You can also get my hilarious t-shirts there. Joe Biden t-shirt is available any of my social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of those. But that's going to do it. Tomorrow we will maybe talk about Joe Biden and what he's doing. I also think there is a press briefing today with the brand new press secretary who didn't do super great on Monday. So maybe we'll have some more of that footage tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. God bless America.